Right, guys, welcome back to Final Whistle FTBL. It's myself, Lies, my boy Culture Cams, and the first leg of probably the most anticipated game in the Champions League this season. Real Madrid versus Manchester City has finished up 1-1. What a game. And it's so delicately poised for the next leg, bro. There's so many storylines to really look at, so many matchups that we saw in full flesh today. The quality on display was unbelievable from both sides. The tactical matchups was brilliant. I just think it's a vintage classic European night between two heavyweights, and I was fully entertained. I was just telling Cam off camera, what a game. I was so entertained by it. We have a lot to talk about. Before we do, of course, make sure you like, share, subscribe, share this with all your friends. If they're looking for any instant reaction to Manchester City, Real Madrid, or any instant reaction to games in general, this is the place to be. With that being said, Cam, how are you today?
All good, bro. All good, man. I'm ill, man. I'm ill. I'm down bad. So you're gonna have to lead the show today, man. But listen, big Champions League game, the one that we've all been waiting for. So yeah, man, let's get into this, bruv.
Absolutely. I went into this game, as you know, Cam, predicting Manchester City to actually progress through this tie and make it to their their second final ever, and actually end up winning the tournament for the first time in their history. You, I believe, have stuck with Real Madrid for the most part, bar that little blip where you went to Munich and became a Bavarian for a few days. Bar that, you've been on Real Madrid's bandwagon. Yeah. You've been saying they're going to get their 15th. Today, though, really didn't go the way I was expecting. I mean, maybe the first half, it kind of played out how I thought it would in terms of City would dominate the ball. Real Madrid, like we all say, they love to suffer, if you will. They absorb pressure and they hit you with these brilliant counterattacks. It was kind of that story for about 35, 40 minutes. And then Real Madrid, on one of their rare forges forward, score an absolute screamer through Vinicius, who tonight, if anyone had any doubts whether he was him or not, whether he belongs in this category with Mbappe and Haaland, which I believe he actually does, he for me solidified those claims. He was an absolute nuisance all night. Real Madrid's biggest threat all night. Kyle Walker, I love your tweet saying he's going to need an ice bath for a few hours after this game. He absolutely tortured him all night, and he comes through with Real Madrid's opener, an absolutely brilliantly taken first goal. And in the second half, really, it didn't play out how I thought it would at all, because the first 20 minutes, Real Madrid, instead of kind of maybe retreating and reading the game as they often do, like I thought they would, were on City's neck for a second. They came awfully close a few times. Benzema, especially, who I thought was so uncharacteristically poor today, didn't look sharp whatsoever. One of the worst games I can remember him playing in a while, especially in Europe. And they were just on City. And then City had this 10, 15-minute period where they kind of grew into the game. But more so than them growing into it, Cam, something I noted about Real Madrid, which I was extremely shocked about, they lost their cool. They got so emotional because fouls weren't going their way and they thought balls were going out when they didn't. And the biggest indicator of that, Cam, for me, was seeing Carlo Ancelotti, who's usually the coolest man in any stadium he's ever in. I see this guy screaming and his face was red and he's arguing with referees. And I thought that was really damning because, again, he's normally the coolest guy in the stadium. But when you look over and see your leader on the touchline, who is, again, infamously cool and composed, losing his shit like that, I feel like it kind of spreads throughout the entire team, and a sense of panic and emotion spread over Real Madrid. Man City were there to actually be the cool and composed ones and take advantage of it. Kevin De Bruyne, with an absolute thunderbolt of a finish, puts it past Courtois. 1-1. The game from there was kind of back and forth, but I think 1-1 is a fair result, to be honest with you. What were like your main takeaways from this game, and going into the second leg, who's the happier team going into the second leg?
Hey, listen, the main takeaways for me in that game was you got to just talk about the individual quality that was on the pitch. You know what I mean? Because I tweeted before the game, this is the perfect match in 2023, I feel. You've got Pep's kind of system-orientated football, and then Real Madrid, they get underrated for how good they are tactically as well. However, they've got individual quality as well. So I was like, both teams have individual quality. They have technical ability. They have big game players. They have everything you want in a fixture like this. And of course, tactically. But it was interesting. The thing that I took away from this game, both teams scored against the run of play. And that was what kind of surprised me. When Real Madrid scored their goal, I thought it was all Man City. In the second half, I thought I was literally... just before KDB's goal, I wrote in my chat, City are getting schooled. Bang, KDB. Like, it was so like you would expect City to the second half to still have the initiative, still have all the possession, still go for the game. But I felt like Real Madrid were the ones that were growing in confidence, and then City scored. So that was just interesting to me to see City scoring against the runner play and also Real Madrid scoring against the runner play. Because usually you would associate that to Real Madrid a little bit. You know what I mean? On the counter attack or against the runner play, they're probably one of the most deadly teams in world football, probably the most deadly. So to see City go and do that, that was super interesting to me. Like that game felt like a proper old school kind of Champions League game. You know, usually we're seeing every team play the same, pass out. Every team wants to be the same. But today we saw kind of two contrasting styles and two different halves. And that's what I liked, man. And then when I saw Vinny's goal, KDB's goal, two outside the box bangers, forget the passing, just crash the ball, bro. Do you know what I mean? Just smash the ball. What does Sean Dyche say? Kick it. What did he say? I can't remember what Sean Dyche said. Listen, just kick the ball in the net. Simple as that. So I really do like that aspect of it, man. And Real Madrid v Man City is the best fixture for me you can possibly have in 2023. And yes, it was only a 1-1, not a 4-3 or 5, whatever. But it was such a fascinating game for me tactically and all right. Because I saw Pep actually made 5 of the subs warm up. He didn't end up bringing them on. Now, we've seen Pep do this before, but I do think it was in reaction to he just wanted to stay in this game, stay in the moment. And then obviously KDB bailed it out. So, honestly, I really enjoyed that game, bro. That's a proper Champions League semi-final, what it should be. A lot of people were talking absolutely crazy, Wayne Rooney included. Real Madrid are going to get battered. I'm like, bro, this is a Champions League semis. How many batterings do we see from any team in Champions League semis, let alone a Real Madrid team? Come on, man. The disrespect that was getting put on the name was insane, bro. Do you know what I mean? So I'm happy we got a 1-1. It's perfectly poised for the second leg. Listen, away goals don't matter. You know what I mean? Real Madrid have to go there with one mentality, go and win the game. Do you know what I mean? Go and win the game. So it doesn't really, I don't think it really changed stuff. Of course, Etihad is a fortress in the Champions League. 100% absolute fortress. So City are now definitely the favourites. But I think everyone saw again today, Real Madrid, you just can't write them off. You just can't write them off. Stop doing it, people. Stop writing off Real Madrid, man. So yeah, man, that's my main take from it.
I mean, yeah, on the point of writing off Real Madrid, even Pep doesn't write Real Madrid off. Like you hear the way Pep fears Real Madrid, no doubt about it. He says it all the time. I think they were asking him last year about how City, like how come they haven't been able to win a Champions League? What's your main thing? And he basically said like, Real Madrid play in this competition, bro. They are the major blocking point for every other team in Europe to win this competition. More often than not, you got to beat Real Madrid or you got to beat who beats Real Madrid. It's crazy. They are the kings of this competition for a reason. Yeah. A lot of people in the comments are saying that the Real Madrid goal or the Manchester City goal, did go out of bounds or did cross the line. I'm not 100% sure about that. I didn't get the chance to see the replay. But
I didn't really get to see the replay either. What is it? Definitely over the line?
They're saying beIN Sports showed like the 3D thing, like the bird's eye view, basically, and they believe that it did cross the line. So if that's the case, I think Real Madrid can feel even more hard done by. But regardless,
we've seen every team that win the Champions League have had extreme moments of luck. When we won the Champions League, we were lucky both times. When Liverpool won the Champions League, they were lucky. When Real Madrid, let's not talk about their offside goals. Let's not talk about Iniesta's last minute versus Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. You always need a bit of luck to win the Champions League. It always happens. So yes, Real Madrid are going to feel hard done by, but it happens in the Champions League, man.
I'm looking actually at the clip right now. The ball was out of play. And I hear you, Cam, about like, oh, this stuff happens, but it shouldn't happen in 2023, right? Like VAR should 100% be eliminating these kinds of things.
How far was it from the goal? What happened?
It was I think Camavinga, I can't remember exactly where. I'm looking at it right now. So Bernardo Silva saves the ball from going out of bounds, and that's kind of where City build up into their goal. But regardless,
out of play, mate. We're in England, all right? This ain't basketball. All right.
Man, out of bounds, out of play,
Out
cross
of
the line, whatever,
bounds.
bro. Y'all are not about no chance y'all are about to bully me on this shit, man.
This
Hell
is our
no.
country. This is our
But
country.
but
All right.
regardless, I disagree with the notion that it's just or teams get lucky in the Champions League. These kinds of decisions for me, it's almost like the goal line technology. It's black and white. There's no in terms of like deciphering it. If it goes out, it's out. If it goes in, it's in. So I do feel that Real Madrid have the right to feel a little aggrieved by that. I'm gonna go through a few of these super chats as well. Just Waffling says KDB screamer against Mr. Stole His Girl. There's his name is really written in the big moments. You have to respect it. Let's talk a little bit about Kevin De Bruyne, actually.
I actually think, in all honesty, listen, I don't want to keep repeating myself. I know you were Fuad earlier today. We used to do Dos Locos probably about 2-3 seasons ago. Probably like 2 seasons ago. From then, I was like, KDB is easily Man City's greatest player in Champions League in Europe. I agree. Easily. And he's just proved it again. Like, now, do I think his performance was great today? I actually don't think so. I don't think he was outstanding today at all. But those are the moments that you grasp their moments. Big players stand up in big moments. And that's what he did, bro. We talk about Gerrards and Lampards and all these guys that we've seen in the past turn up in big moments. That's what KDB does in Europe. That is literally what he does. So you talk about Yaya, Silva, Aguero, all these names. KDB, when it comes to the European stage, in a way, he can actually be like, the rest of you guys kind of have letting me down a little bit because I turn up every single time
this is the third first leg semifinal that he scores in a row, Kim. The last 3 years he has scored in the first leg of a Champions League semifinal for City.
And he's building a nice track record. I think it's 9 Champions League knockout round goals.
Yeah,
that's pretty impressive, bro. That's pretty impressive. So we know in this moment, KDB has that thing about him where he can turn a game on its head at any single moment, whether it's an assist, whether it's a nice pass, whether it's a turn, whether it's a goal. And today, what was required is a goal, and he did it. Do you know what I mean? So big, massive respect to him because, again, when I come and watch these games, I always want the best players. I wrote in my chat, I'm going to be so annoyed if Akanji or Rodri or Alaba win them the game today. I want no disrespect to them guys. They're class in their positions, but I want KDB. I want Vinny to be deciding these games, bro. So it just gave me what I wanted, man.
It's true, man. The Champions League, I always say it, right? It's the league of the stars, man. These games are determined by the biggest players on the planet. And you think of the best players in the world, the best players the last 20 years, they all have top European platforms that they've built reputations on. Like these big games, big European nights, Tuesday and Wednesday nights, they stand and hold themselves accountable for. And De Bruyne's track record, I mean, I remember PSG. And that's the thing too, right? Me and Fuad were talking about it. City, before De Bruyne came, were a shambles in Europe. I actually don't think they got past the round of 16 before De Bruyne joined one single time. In fact, his first year there, he scored the winner against PSG. They went to the semifinals. And since then, they've gone to semifinals 3 years in a row. They went to a final. And he's always had his fingerprints on all of those big victories. I completely agree.
Yeah,
Pep here. Special. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, bro. Like, literally, in those moments, he's special, you know what I mean? And he's just building it. We keep saying, right, that we've said before that if KDB was playing for Liverpool, if KDB was playing for Man United, even Chelsea to an extent, Arsenal, if he was playing with these names, he'll already be in these ridiculous, these mental combos of all-timers and greatest players that we've seen, blah, blah, blah. And I feel like Man City, obviously the size of the club or whatever, it kind of, maybe it dims his light a little bit, you know what I mean? But I think a Champions League now, if he was to go and win a Champions League, there won't be a conversation in terms of him sitting up there with the best of the best. Do you know what I'm trying to say? Now, does that mean that doesn't mean I'll say now he's Iniesta and Zidane and all that. But he's going to be in conversations. Gerrard is in these great combos. All these type of players. KDB belongs there, man. And for me, you don't have to win. Well, it'll help you in conversations, in discussions, in barbershop talk or whatever. But via the eyes and via what he's actually done, KDB sits in these mad conversations.
No, definitely. I was going to actually read here. Pep agrees with you about when we were better, they scored. When they were better, we scored. So he definitely agrees with you on that.
Hey, FTBL final whistle analysis, bro.
Pep's tuned in, bro. Pep got an AirPod in his ear. He's listening. I was also gonna say about KDB, right? I see a lot of people in the chat saying, "Oh, he was poor before the goal. The goal papered over a lot of the cracks." And in a way, I guess it did. But I think one thing about KDB this season is he's almost playing as like a shadow striker this year. He's playing as a forward. So this is one of the greatest output performers of his generation. His goals and assist tallies are crazy. A player like that, already I've never believed KDB is this incredible player at controlling games from midfield. He is unbelievable as the closer to goal you get him. So a player of this caliber, why would you not want him closer and closer to goal, being involved with goals and assists, and like he does today, getting on the end of an equalizer? I don't understand this whole. Yeah.
The reality is with KDB is that now, look, when he was in his pomp, people were saying like, you know, he can play box to box. Then they were saying, yeah, you know, he's got that engine. Then he started moving towards this kind of RCM. I hated that side of KDB. That's the version of KDB I really disliked, when he was just crossing the ball all the time from that RCM position. But now, how do you ensure that your best players stay effective, right? You need to get KDB closer, because making KDB try and be part of the build-up consistently and stuff, you're just going to take away a lot out of him now. Now he needs to be saving his energy in the moments to be decisive. What happened when Cristiano needed to change up his game? What he do? He went up front. You know what I mean? He couldn't do the left wing thing consistently. He done it up front. He goes up front. Even Messi, to an extent, what did he do? Start dropping a little bit deep, even more deep than he normally does. Everyone finds a way of adapting themselves. Do you know what I mean? To remain effective and still be top players. And that's what KDB's done. You know what I mean? So yeah,
I see Shanuk. I think that's how you pronounce your name. Excuse me if it's not Shaunak, I believe. He says KDB was poor apart from the strike, up against a DM-less midfield. City play this way at the Etihad, they get turned over. Madrid overload half spaces. And he also goes on to say, we have Bruno, ease up, your United fans. Hey, Shaunak, thank you, for the super chat, but respectfully to Bruno, there are major levels between the two of them. Bruno is a good player in his own right, but we're comparing Bruno to, in my opinion, an all-timer in midfield. The performances that he's put up against in Europe, you look at Bruno's track record in Europe, his biggest games come in the Europa League. There are major levels to this game, bro. Major.
Don't joke with that one, man.
A few more super chats. Ty here says, whoever turns up between Haaland or Benzema determines who wins the second leg, in my opinion. Both can't be quiet for both legs, can they? I mean, let's talk about the strikers. What do you want to start on?
Yeah, bro, I feel like the Haaland, I think, came up against a good defense today. I think Rudiger and Alaba were up for it today. We saw with Alaba's block. We saw with Rudiger just generally through the game. They had him up. Did City create great for him? Probably not. But they had him in the situations where he doesn't want to be, bro. Yeah, I mean, and we saw when he played against Arsenal, for example, he was able to get really physical and bully them. But these guys show that they can mix it as well with them, and they can mix it with him in a foot race as well. So that's the important side of it. So I think them two did really well. I think the probability of Haaland having a better game is Haaland's probably going to have a way better game at the Etihad, right? City are going to be up for it. We know what the Etihad's like. Benzema, though, we've seen a lot of these performances. If people are actually watching Benzema this season, we've seen a lot of these performances from Benzema. And for me, I don't mind that he is now allowed, kind of not allowed, but Vinny's the main man in the team. Rodrigo's doing his thing on the right-hand side. That's what you want your football club to do, bro. He's 36 years old. Pop up when you're needed. Let the other guys, as they say, run the offense or whatever. Let the other guys do what they need to do.
Oh, now we're using basketball terminology, huh? Okay. Say no more.
This is the count for everything. You know, when you do this, it can pass. But I feel like him letting them be the main men, pop up when you're needed, bro. Benzema's been doing this all season. Yes, he's still going to score. He's still going to get his numbers because he's Benzema. But you can't count him out at the Etihad. No way. But the chances of Haaland probably not turning up more, but his performance going this way compared to Benzema's is probably higher because, as I said, we've seen Benzema be like that for majority of the season, to be honest. And as I said, he's still going to get his goals, he's still going to get his assists, but yeah, this is more of a Benzema performance this season.
For me, Benzema, look, I hear it, right? He is getting up there in age. He is not like the probability that he was going to replicate last season was like a miracle, bro. But I was saying to Fuad and Faisal and then the guys over here the whole time, bro. He doesn't look sharp. He and it's been like this for large portions of the season. It's like his first touch is lacking, bro. And one thing you
He's
could
been
always say
injured
about
though.
Benzema, even when he was scoring 4 goals a season, bro,
Mm.
technically he's secure. He's efficient. He's a very technically high level player. Today, bro, his first touch was sloppy. He was trying to get past players and couldn't do it. The miss is okay. I've seen that from Benzema before. Like the killer Benzema is only the last few seasons. But I was actually really disappointed in his overall game because that's normally something with Benzema. He can play a really good game without scoring a goal. Today, I didn't think we got that kind of performance. And
You gotta remember
it almost felt like he was the weak link in that front three, to be honest with you.
You got to remember they got two good centre halves as well. You know what I mean? I speak about Stones all the time. Diaz, big today as well.
Big block
big
too.
Since he's been big since that block, that clearance. Do you know how many defenders turned that into an own goal? By the way,
I said the same thing, bro. I said that, or they leave it. They just hope no one's behind them. Absolutely.
Do you know how many turned that into an own goal? So that was excellent. So listen, one thing which was good to see again, big performances from both team centre backs. Now that's good, man. You don't get that often, man. Do you know what I mean? You don't get that often. All game we're expecting Haaland brace, Benzema brace, and 4-4, whatever. But you know what I mean? Centre backs union ruled supreme today.
Absolutely. No, and kind of echoing what you said about Rudiger, right? I that was a matchup that I really looked at, Rudiger versus Haaland, because Rudiger is the biggest shithouse, bro, right? He loves, and in fact, that thing that he did on Gundogan, which is eerily similar to what he did on De Bruyne a few seasons ago, Champions League final. He's the master of the dark arts right there, Rudiger. And I think he really relished that matchup with Haaland because that's someone. There are very few people, in my opinion, that can really match up with Haaland physically and athletically and with pace and behind. Rudiger is one of the few, and I thought he had a lot of success. And I think it'll be interesting to see, does he bring Militao back into that back four? And if so, for which one of Rudiger and Alaba? Because I think both of them played really strong games.
So what do you do if you're Ancelotti for the next game? Militao's back.
Yeah.
Do you move Alaba left back, Militao and Rudiger, or do you say Alaba and you put Militao and do you move Camavinga and midfield? What do you do if you Ancelotti?
So I was speaking to Faisal about it. Faisal, me personally, I don't know how much left back Alaba has played this season, but I want to see Camavinga in that midfield. And I think a mistake today of Ancelotti's, and maybe hindsight is 2020 here, but I don't think there was enough legs in that midfield. I think Modric and Kroos in this kind of game, in this kind of matchup, isn't it? Especially Kroos as the lone DM. I would have liked to see Tchouaméni in there. I would have liked to see Camavinga in there. And I think in the second leg, where you're going to have even less of the ball and you're going to be chasing shadows and you're going to need athletes in there, I would bring a Camavinga, a Tchouaméni, or both into that team. Now, does that mean you put Nacho at left back? Does that mean you bring Alaba to left back and bring Rudiger and Militao in the middle? I'm not sure, but I think one thing I would like to see Ancelotti do definitely is bring one of those younger guys into the team to cross it up with the likes of Rodri, Gundogan, and De Bruyne.
Yeah, he's got a dilemma, man. He's got a dilemma because do you go pragmatic? Do you go? It's a hard one. Do you go with the experience? Because you go Camavinga and Tchouaméni and you're down 2-0 in the first half. What are they gonna say? Why did you bench Kroos? Why did you bench? So he's got a big decision to make, man. But we've seen him bench Kroos before in like big games, I believe, and it hasn't really backfired on him. So I'm not trying to dig out Kroos because Kroos is different, but yeah,
I think it was Modric actually was the surprise inclusion, right? Because Modric is only recently coming off a hamstring injury, and I think as recently as last week they were saying he wasn't even expected to be fit for this game. So yeah, but I do think legs are needed, especially at the Etihad, bro. That if we think that the first half was domination by City, I think the Etihad is really going to be a test of Real Madrid's strength and perseverance. We got a few more super chats here. Ash here says Madrid have too many X factor players. City's wingers aren't built for Champions League knockouts. Very poor tonight. Recycling possession and passing to defensive midfielders. Hype. One thing I want to say about Real Madrid, right?
Yeah.
And you saw it numerous times throughout tonight. You've seen it so many times throughout the years. I love the individual talent and technical security and composure that all of these players have, from Carvajal to Vinicius, is ridiculous, bro. In tight spaces where they get like trapped in the corner or like on the touchline, you think there's no way for them to get out. They are so exceptional. Like they have like telepathy between the three of them. They create triangles so easily. Like to a level I haven't seen since like Xavi, Iniesta, Messi at Barcelona. They do it exceptionally, and there was this one move, bro, from their own half to I think it was Benzema got the last shot and it got deflected. They literally just like through triangles all the way up the pitch, ripped City apart with possession.
Did you see there was like a part where they were building up from the back? They were passing it between Alaba to Camavinga. I think it went back to Modric.
Yeah.
Modric then passed it back to Camavinga. Camavinga switched it all the way to Carvajal.
Yeah.
I was like,
this is crazy,
bro. Like, come on. This is the level, bro.
Yeah.
This is the level that teams have got to aspire to. And this is why I said this is the best fixture in football. I don't care about Barcelona winning the league. Like, whatever, they won the league. We smoked Barcelona. That's how bad it is. These two are the standard for everything you want in football. It's Real Madrid, it's Man City at the moment. I don't care what nobody tells me, bro. So both ways, man, they're just so composed, so calm. That extra calm, bro. Bro, I'll kill for that.
It's true, man. It's really, and I think the contrast in philosophies, right, between Ancelotti and Pep, they're absolute polar opposites, bro. You got one where it's like some people even go as far as saying Ancelotti is just vibes tactics, but his confidence in his players, basically he just lets them vibe and he lets them do their thing, and he gives them the.
Bro, I do think from when I was seeing them build out from the back today, and how they were attacking in certain situations. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not going to turn around and say Ancelotti's Pep Guardiola level of tactician, but I do think that the narrative of they just vibe out there, go out and have fun.
No, they're not really vibing. My last point that I want to say, I think he gives his tactical like philosophy. He gives them a platform that allows them to play that style of play. I think someone sent a super chat in our stream earlier. If Pep is juego de posición, if you want to call it that, Ancelotti, what they call it is juego de relación, in terms of like the relationships between the players. We're getting tactical in FTVL final whistle, bro. But yeah, they call it like juego de relación or something like that. The relationship between the players on and off the ball. They're getting vibey out there, bro.
Yeah, you're in your bag today, boy. Guys put on a checkered shirt and start talking crazy.
Hey, you call yourself culture tactical? Hey, Lias tactical in the house, man.
Hey, guys put on a turtleneck and start giving financial advice. Bro.
You're a clown.
Yo, don't kill me, bro. That's funny. But going back to the super chat. Look, in games like this, right? People could look at these moments and be like, do you know what? It's good that City hung in their game. They retained the ball. They stayed in the game. Because at the Etihad, it could be completely different. We know City are going to be a lot more penetrative in the next leg. Do you know what I mean? So it's one of them ones where I get what they're saying, but I do think it's starting to become very lazy that we big up Man City all season. Oh, what Haaland's doing, the transition of how Man City are now playing, blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as City don't win a match, it's back to, you know what? They ain't got the wingers. Bro, people were saying that before, then started changing their mind again. And now when City finally, we ain't seen City win a game in the last, City have won their last 10 games. We ain't seen City finally win again. It's back to the wingers. The wingers. It's down to the wingers. I'm not with that. What was Sane and Sterling doing? Were they winning Champions Leagues? I'm confused. Was Sane and Sterling winning Champions Leagues for Man City? Or
as far as I'm concerned, no.
There we go, bro. Just saying the wingers is very lazy.
Yeah. A few more in here. This tactics hype came down to the best players shooting outside the box. LOL, great game. Imagine how good it would have been if Haaland and Benzema played. Fairs. Dami, who's a City fan, says some people forget that City played in hot temperatures where Madrid are used to. Great achievement to come away with a draw.
Yo, he's been listening to Greenberg, I think his name is, the NBA analyst. He said the Knicks are struggling against Miami because of the heat, because it's hot. I know, I'm familiar with this guy's game, boy.
Weak, man. AB says, Cam, the drink is finished. Leave it alone. Hey, you're on mute.
Tell them, wait me. I'm always prepared, bruv.
What you got loading up, bro?
Fresh new bottle.
Hydration hype, bro.
Hydration.
Sandeep HG is dead. Says big up to Ameni. Forced a big up to Ameni. Forced the big save from Ederson is already here for post-match reaction. Big up to Ameni, bro. I think they're in the background laughing, bro. Yeah, Tchouameni, a good cameo. I was talking to Faisal earlier. He wanted him to start, and I know he's been in and out of the team. I think post World Cup, injury, form, etc., etc. But again, legs. Athletes are the name of the game in 2023, bro.
Yeah, that shot was decent as well, man.
Yeah, it looked way better off the first reaction, though. I was screaming like that's the save of the season. I saw it again. I was like, okay, maybe it's a little central.
Yeah. But you be getting excited, innit?
All right, that's enough out of you.
You be getting excited. That's the thing about you.
I'm a fan of the game, man. I think that's it for super chats from now. Let's talk a little bit about who else do we have really left. We talked about Haaland and Benzema. We talked about De Bruyne. Did we speak a lot about Vinny?
Not enough.
I agree. I agree. Vinny, I keep saying, right, he's my favorite player in the world to watch right now. Because, and I said the same thing as you, actually, your tweet that you were talking about in terms of combine. I know me and you talk a lot about this in terms of how many players ever really are able to combine excellent output while maintaining excellent 90-minute performances and also still being aesthetically pleasing. And when you think about it, it's really only the best players of all time. Messi, Neymar, Henry, Ronaldinho, Cristiano Ronaldo to a certain point in his career. And then even he became more about goals. It's very difficult to find players that combine the two excellently. And Vinny is a player now that is on his second consecutive 2020 season in terms of goals and assists, but still maintains the old school winger vibe of I'm going to get on the ball and my number one goal for this game, bar scoring and assisting. I'm going to look at my fullback and that's my matchup for the day. My mission for tonight is just to make him look stupid. And he does it to such a high level. The guy's entertaining. The guy's direct. The guy is electric, and he gives you goals and assists. I think for a player, for anyone watching a game as a neutral, that's the kind of player you pay money to go watch.
And this is why I say, remember when I said, do you know what? I'm going to stop talking about Salah. You know what I mean? Even when he was on his bad form, I said, I'm going to stop talking about it because remember what you were saying about like Rashfords and Salahs and all these type of guys. Look, it's so hard to find in this day and age guys that can mix both. So you just got to appreciate what guys offer. If you're going to be a complete machine statistically, fair enough. If you're going to be a creator who hasn't got the numbers, fair enough. Nowadays, it's hard to find people that consistently aesthetically please. What did I say? I said the GOATs, it's not the GOATs, but the best in the world are the ones that can mix it, really. You're talking about Neymar's, Messi's, as you mentioned, Ronaldo's, all these type of guys, right? They're the ones who end up becoming the most elite because they end up knowing how to mix that as well as being crazy numbers. And Vinny's got 23 goals, I think 20 assists. Do you know what I mean? It's 2
seasons in a row, bro.
It's ridiculous, bro. The actual output isn't even just like, oh, do you know what? This is nice. This is nice output. Like, this is unbelievable output, as well as still step overs, flicks, this rainbow flicks. It's something that you just got to be grateful for. And we always talk about Brazilians. Brazil, I was saying, like, the streets are done. We have to start calling Brazilian streets the pavements because there's nothing going on. There's no talent there's no like flair being produced there. Yeah, I mean, like they were telling me Jesus and all these men with the flair guys. I was like, whoa. If that's the case, we're struggling here. But
there's no more poverty in Brazil, bro.
They're not painting walls anymore, bro. They're not painting walls. They're not painting walls, bro. Facilities, I don't know if it's been gentrified or what's going on, but they have too many good facilities now. They're playing on Astro.
This is how we end up with Martinelli's, bro.
Bro, they're playing on Astro, bro. I remember they used to play in their bare feet on the flipping concrete.
They're too privileged these days, bro.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. But people like Vinny is a throwback, man. That's a proper, you feel like that's a proper Brazilian player, and he's just mixing it beautifully, man. I'm not going to say to the extent of Ronaldinho's and all these guys, but that's what Dino was doing. Mad numbers while aesthetically pleasing. Neymar, mad numbers while aesthetically pleasing. got Kaka, all these type of guys. This is what we used to love. So I
Mm.
like it, man. Defo, I'm enjoying that, man.
One of the
What a player.
guys made a really good
What a
point
player.
today one of the guys today made a really good point too, in that you think of like the biggest Brazilian players of the last 20 years, and they were really like on top for 3-4 years if you think about it. Like Ronaldinho, we talk about the 3-4 year period. Kaká, we think of 3-4 years. Robinho, Ronaldo, R9, excuse me. I compared them like meteorites. They basically are so incredible for such a short amount of time, and they just fizzle out. And maybe it's down to the mentality. Maybe it's like they get to the top and they're not able. They don't have what it takes to remain at the top. But Vinny is like, the mentality is there. You can tell, bro, that if Vinny is able to stay fit, this isn't a guy that's going to have outside distractions. This isn't a guy who's going to like fizzle out after 2-3 years. You could see the first Brazilian attacker, which for me, maybe since like Pele, bro, if you really think about it, that maintains this high level and is like a consistent Ballon d'Or threat for 10-15 years, bro. You really think about it, you haven't had many Brazilian attackers in recent time that are able to maintain these levels.
Brazilians tend to fizzle out because, I don't know, as you mentioned, whether it's partying, whether it's girls, whether it's just losing motivation for the game, injuries, there's always something that kind of stopped them. In Neymar's case, for me, obviously injuries, but I just think he made a terrible move, in my opinion. But there's always something, whether it's money motivated, who knows. But you hope, obviously you can't predict his whole future in it. We don't know what's going to happen, but you hope he is somebody that continues. To be fair to Neymar, he's probably had a longer stretch in terms of being a top player than anyone else. Do you know what I mean?
True. That's true.
I hate the narrative that Ronaldinho only did it for 2 years. I hate that. He didn't do it for only 2 years. But I would say, let's say 5 years of Ronaldinho. Neymar is given probably like 8-9 years at least, if I'm thinking
that's fair. That's fair.
Even if you respect him from what he was doing for Santos and all that type of stuff, he's had a long career. But again, the career move for me wasn't the best. But when you actually look at these Brazilians, as you mentioned, yes, they had it, but we can't really predict what Vinny's gonna do. Vinny could get an injury, next man come in, and then next thing we don't know what happens. Yeah,
fair. Injury you can't predict. I can't say injuries, but injuries aside, I think the thing though that makes me think with Vinny, it's different to the rest of them, bro, is that you think of Ronaldo, you think of Ronaldinho, you think of Neymar, you think of maybe Kaká. I wasn't around. I can't remember his story from the start, but weren't they proclaimed as like the next big thing? Like they were like YouTube stars, or they were like world stars. Like Ronaldo was a World Cup winner at 18. Like maybe it was all the hype around them too, and maybe they bought into it too much. Vinny, bro, if you think about it, the trajectory that he's had to suffer. He came into Real Madrid, he was the laughing stock. You have the Benzema story. He came in right after Cristiano Ronaldo. Hazard was there in his place in the beginning, and he had to really bide his time with that. I think all of that to finally now be the main guy on a Champions League winning team, on a Champions League contending team, adds to the allure and adds to the mentality as well. That, again, I believe this guy, injuries aside, can really keep up this level and higher for as long as he wants.
It's hard to fall off at a team like Real Madrid anyway, in terms of mentality-wise. Your mentality's got to be 100 at a team like that. And it's mad because a year ago to today, not to this exact date, but a year ago to the same fixture, Real Madrid and Man City, I spoke about how Vinny has now got that Cristiano about him, where it's like, all right, yeah, you can have that flair to you, but you need to know where the goal is. You need to know what the assist is, that trajectory. And somebody in my tweets kind of broke it down even better. If you look at how they came from their hometown club to a big club, were basically getting ridiculed for just being over skillful, no end product, then turn into a more productive machine, and now the leading star of a big football club. Like, there is actually a lot of similarities there. Now, I'm not going to say Vinny's going to be Cristiano. I'm never going to say that.
Agreed.
But it's interesting to see. And we saw what that did for Cristiano's mentality. He had to suffer, as you just mentioned. So it's a good point that he's gone through the suffering. Maybe it's going to help his mentality. But Kaká, I wouldn't say was like a young star or anything like that. But yeah, I get your point.
I got a super chat here before I kind of ask you a few more questions before we kind of dip out of this. But Articulate Thumb here, he says, City get knocked out of shape, plus player positions is this static. It's Real Madrid's bread and butter. Can't rely on dispossession to finish the job. They need runners. Cam, my last question for you is kind of the one that you asked for me. For Real Madrid to be playing in the Champions League final in June, I believe it's in June, what do they need to do in the second leg, or if you would change anything?
Oh, it's hard, bro. You with what you said about the midfield, that's the hardest bit. Militao, do you bring him in? Do you put him right back? Do you potentially play him right back?
I thought
You know what I
Carvajal
mean?
had a solid night, to be honest.
I always think Carvajal gets slandered, but somehow he's like Chelsea's Aspie when he was good. Anyway, not now. Like, you're ready for him to be a bum, but he
Yeah.
always had a performance in him. Do you know what I mean?
Champions League nights, he definitely as well. Remember Luis Diaz last year in the final?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, he mocked him.
Yeah.
He embarrassed Diaz. You know? He
Fact.
embarrassed him, but it's a hard one. It's that midfield. Because I don't think Valverde. What do you guys think Valverde was good today? I don't think he was.
He was out. He was absent for me. I wasn't a fan of his performance.
Non-existent. So Militao comes back in, but do you drop Rudiger off after a performance like that? It's kind of hard.
I don't think you take out Rudiger.
So then you got to put him right back. Or you want Camavinga, you want Alaba left back in it.
I can't remember. Faisal, has Alaba played much at left back this year? You said only a couple of games. Yeah, maybe I would go Alaba at left back, if not Nacho, but
Rudiger's done left back.
Camavinga has to play midfield for me.
Rudiger's done left back a few times, no?
What are you saying?
Rudiger's done left back a few times, no?
Yeah, I think in the beginning of the season, especially Rudiger played quite a few games at left back.
I don't know, man. What's Faisal, man? What does Faisal think?
Faisal's saying, Faisal, what's your 11 for next leg?
Speaking to the mic.
Is the mic in?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Just
Faisal off camera is giving you 11.
Alaba left back, put Camavinga in the midfield. We need legs in the midfield. We need a double pivot, Chimeni and Camavinga.
Oh, Chimeni as well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, double pivot, Chimeni, Camavinga.
And were you taking out Kroos or Modric?
Huh?
Taking out Kroos or Modric?
Cruz.
Okay, fair enough. So Modric, Tchouameni, and Camavinga. I think that's a good
I think
midfield.
that would actually surprise me. I think that would surprise City as well, to be honest. It'll be a completely different proposition to what they played today. So, yeah, I guess away from home, you are going to need those legs, man. Etihad, bro, is hot. It's hot in the Champions League. They're building a serious name for themselves at that stadium. People talk about the no fans, no atmosphere, but in the Champions League, they actually turn up. So, I don't know. It's a tough one, though, man. It's a tough one. Ancelotti's got a big decision to make, man.
Definitely. And just to close it off, for City, more of the same? Just play their game at the Etihad?
Yeah, for me, more of the same. Only thing that they could possibly change is trying to move Stones into that kind of midfield kind of situation. But with the threat of Vinny, yeah, you might not be able to do that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I don't think Ake is going to be fit yet anyway. So, say more of the same for City. Maybe I think I would probably go Mahrez though. I'd start Mahrez.
Fuad was saying the same thing too, with the amount of space that Bernardo really had out there, and I think he struggled a bit with Camavinga, especially 1v1. Maybe Mahrez is a different kind of proposition, and now
in the Champions League, he's probably the next one up for Man City when it comes to performances in Champions League. No,
yeah.
So yeah, I'd go the same. I'd go Rodri, Gundogan, KDB, Grealish, Haaland, Mahrez. That's what I would go. Would he go Foden? He doesn't like that lack of retention. I don't see it compared to Pep does, but I ain't Pep. He doesn't like that. When he said simple, when Haaland and Foden play, it gets too what's the word?
Too direct.
It goes too direct. So he won't play Foden, I don't think. Even though Foden in Champions League is good as well. So, but he definitely got to make some subs. Come on, man. Yo, wait. This no sub thing, it's not that lit, bro. It's not that lit. It's not as lit as he thinks it is, bro. I'm not even gonna lie, bro.
He was saying apparently, I was told apparently he says he sometimes doesn't do it because he doesn't want to appear nervous. He doesn't want to make the opposition feel like he's being reactive.
Reactive hype. Come on, Pep, man. In-game management, please. Like, yo. If other managers were doing this no sub thing and not winning matches, yeah, man, come on, bro. Man will be onto them. Man will be onto them, bro. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of the times when he's done this no subs, they haven't won, bro. They haven't won the match. So, listen, that's you people. Anyway, Pepites. You know.
Now, okay, you say no more.
You know, try to find a way to justify.
Don't you love this shit, man? But you lot.
Hold on. I'm just saying, if other managers didn't make a sub and didn't win games, not every time they do it, but a lot of times when he doesn't do it, they don't win the match. If other managers did that, it'll be smoke. Come on. The energy will be different, bro. The energy will be different. That's what I'm saying.
All right, last thing. Prediction for the second leg. Who's going to be playing in the final in June?
My head is saying Man City, but my heart is saying Real Madrid. So, I don't know, man. Do you follow your mind or do you follow your gut?
Let's
Philosophy.
say like that was a bar or some shit like that, bro. That was basic as hell, man. Who you got, bro? Quit stalling.
Hey, follow your gut.
I'm gonna stick. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with Real Madrid. I'm sticking with Real Madrid.
Yeah, fair
I'm gonna
enough.
stick with them. No, there's no point in turning now. I might as well stick with them to the end.
100%. I think Haaland has a huge part to say in the second leg, bro. I think he was very, very quiet this first leg, had a few half chances, but I think second leg he comes to life, and I think he sends Manchester City to Istanbul.
You reckon, yeah?
Yeah. I think it's written. I'm telling you, this is City's treble year, bro. I see it. I can just feel it.
It ain't easy. It ain't easy, boy. No subs though. That might be good for Arsenal. Who knows? Dyche's men.
Oh, is that wait? What do you mean Dyche's men?
They got Everton away next.
Oh, City.
Mm-hmm.
He's catching smoke, bro. I know you're gassed about that result the other day, but he's catching smoke, bro.
You see what he done to this flipping fake tacticos? You see what happened? You see what happens when fake tacticos come up against real men? That's what I'm saying.
Is that Sean Dyche's first win in like 3 months, bro? About real men, bro.
Don't worry about that.
You pipe up a real man after 3. Nah, I'm not having that. Anyways, guys, this has been FTBL Final Whistle. Manchester City versus Real Madrid instant live reaction. Leave all your comments down below. Who do you guys think is going to progress to the final? What do you guys think is going to happen in the second leg? Make sure you like, share, subscribe, share with all your friends, notifications on, all that good stuff. With that being said, to myself, Lies, my boy Culture Cams. We'll see you soon.
Big up,
Peace.
big up.